Congratulations on the film, first of all. I loved it. I saw it at London Film Festival, and it was one of my favorite days at the festival. I
Excellent.
wanted to start with sort of like the beginning and how you first approached the film. So I guess how you first got the idea, and how you came on board, James, as well.
So at the time, we were myself and my brother Colin were promoting A Date from Mad Mary, our first film, and during the that period of time, our mum was quite unwell, and we were both spending a lot of time at home as carers for her. And at the same time, we had been given this DVD with a view to potentially adapting this gorgeous Italian film called Mid-August Lunch. And it was about a middle-aged man who was living with his mum in a small apartment, and then over this long weekend, he had to take care of these other three sort of aristocratic ladies in the Italian film. And so we just sort of thought, we're hanging out with our mum and sort of a lot of my mum's sisters and our friends around the house who kind of come under the pretense that they're going to sort of help out, but then, invariably will need to be kind of may need to be minded to some degree as well, or catered for. So we were just living a sort of a similar scenario to the original Italian film, and we thought it would be interesting if we could sort of fuse our own experiences with an adaptation or a very loose adaptation of the Italian film.
Yeah, of course. And Jane, how did you sort of like come on board, and what kind of spoke to you about the film, I guess, when you read the script?
Well, I loved Colin and Darren's first film, A Date for Mad Mary, and uh, and then my agent told me that I was going to have a conversation with Darren. I was really excited, and we just spoke honestly for about an hour and a half. I was in filming at the time, and we just connected, and it was with the script and everything. I just loved that blend of comedy and drama, and just sitting on that line, and I could see that tonally in A Date for Mad Mary, and I knew that was something that they were going to reach for in this again, and it was just that I really respond to that, and it's what I want to, how I want to act. So I just knew that would be exciting, and the script just it's really. I've had it twice in my whole career where I've read scripts and I've been like, I need to do this. It just leaps out the page at me, and I was laughing and crying reading the script, and that seems to be what the effect the film's having as well. So it's just been a joy to make.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back to what you said, what really I think stands out from the film is how it's so funny and so sad, like within the same beat. How did you both work on creating this balance between the humor and the more serious and emotional moments?
A lot of it is casting, you cast actors who you think are going to be able to play that. And I'd seen James do this film with Michael Winterbottom that was really, really understated. It's called On the Road. It was the Wolf Alice uh, concert movie, and then I'd also seen the National Theatre at Home. I hadn't seen it live, but the Angels in America. So I sort of knew the sort of somewhat his capacity there, and then just having a conversation and hearing his point of view on comedy and what his taste is like and stuff like that. You just get a sense that, oh, I feel like he'll kind of get what it is that we're trying to do, and be great with it, which he was. And sort of similarly with Fionnula and Stella and all the other cast, you cast appropriately, and then the whole way through it, you just kind of try to stay in that balance. And most of the times when you get into the edit is where it needs a little bit more massaging, and it can be a little bit more complicated to maintain that sort of that line where you're able to oscillate really easily between comedy and pathos. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the script as well had that really detailed balance, that really detailed nuance between comedy and drama, and it seemed so, obviously worked at and deliberate, but then there was such a ease on set with Darren, with Colin, that you felt like sometimes you could go off piste within a certain degree, because and that openness, I think, allows you to communicate clearly, make bolder choices, and because you don't feel you're going to be shut down for them. But it's not a free for all. You're still guided, but there's an ease, and I think that really, really helps actors give the best.
Remember we talked about like not like one of the things is that when we're filming, we try not to necessarily to play the absurdity or the comedy within the scene in any kind of way. Well, these guys will always just kind of play the truth, and then I would sort of reassure them and kind of go, look, you don't need to worry about making other people laugh on set and stuff like that. That's not. We just need to forget about that entirely and just dig into even moments where it's absolutely ridiculous what's sort of going on, and the premise itself of Edward being left with three women is extremely over the top and ridiculous and stuff like that. But we always had to kind of go, look, we gotta find a way to make that, not play this as if it's as daft as it is, so that the audience will kind of go along with it, because we did feel that me and Colin always felt that there's a real danger that we're going to lose the audience 15 minutes into the film. When this happens, they'll just go, you know what, I'm out, this is too stupid. So it was really down to the cast to be able to kind of go, look, you have to make this crazy idea fly. And they did.
Yeah, and speaking of the casting, how was the casting process specifically for the mothers? Because they work so well with each other, they really bounce off each other's energy. So how did you work on that? And obviously on set, I'm sure that was a lot of work as well.
Yeah, it was actually quite difficult to cast the mothers, in the sense that what we didn't anticipate was that a lot of actors, at that point in their careers, don't necessarily want to play characters who have a diminished capacity or are in need of wheelchairs or voice assistants or anything like that, because they feel that if they are seen in a movie where they're doing that, then all they're going to get offered beyond that are similar parts, and so we got a lot of really nice letters from actors saying, look, we like the script, but we just don't feel like we want to take that on right now because it's going to lead to X, Y, and Z. And then like when we got Fionnula, when we just happened on Fionnula, which is sort of, it's always really obvious in retrospect, but at the time, and me and Fionnula actually have the same agent, and somehow it took us a while to sort of realize that what we were looking for was quite, close to us and stuff. But once that piece of casting happened, and then over another couple of months, we met with it was during COVID, so we met with a bunch of other actors, and amongst them was the great Stella McCusker and Dervla Malloy and Paddy Glynn, and almost immediately when we met them, we sort of knew that they were going to be great. And it was we had some Zooms where we all kind of met and sort of read the script together and stuff like that, and that seemed to be going quite well. Then we didn't get together in a room until I think the weekend before we started filming.
Wow, that's incredible. I think this is more for James maybe, but I think Edward is such a fascinating character. He really holds the film in many ways, but he's also a bit frustrating at times, I think. How did you approach like the character? How did you were there any challenges in portraying him for you?
Well, I mean, I did have a fair few times I had said to Colin and Darren, "Is this true? He's going to be so unlikable or frustrating?" And it wasn't really like I didn't mind him being unlikable, but my worry was you just like you want to shake him so much that you just disengage, But again, I think that goes back to what Darren was saying in the edit and stuff. Just like what you're saying about the comedy and drama is just everything's about balance, and I think there are sometimes where you do want to shake him, and I think that's good. I think that's he is, and I remember even having this conversation as well. I was like, he's such a passive protagonist. How, and like they're convinced me like that if you hold right to the last moment, he's going to change. And I was like, yeah, and I kept thinking, well, Hamlet's a pretty a passive protagonist, and that question character Gaetano plays. Ralph says at the end, go to America or don't go to America, just make a decision. I really kind of
Mhm.
that really centered everything for me. I was like, that is who he is, and there's fun to be had in that, and I think it's really relatable. I think often our heroes or in cinema or protagonists are often, they are doers and they go out and they forge their own destiny or whatever. That's usually a kind of trait of a film protagonist, but actually most of us are just humming and hawing, as my gran would say, between.
There's something very human as well about running towards something and running away from it at the same time, which is a little bit of what's going on with Edward in terms of his life, or his career starting, and an opportunity, the thing that he's sort of waited for a long time, is sort of presented, and he sort of wants it, but he's also creating all these obstacles in terms of moving towards that and getting it, which just seems, certainly like something that I've felt at different times in my life. And I think that there's something human about that people will identify with. But definitely the idea of, particularly in the edit, we were rubbing up against the idea of having a very passive character and making that engaging from the get-go was something that was we were challenged by all the way through it in terms of holding the engagement. But then we found that there were so many beautiful details within James's performance, and the smallness, and the all of that nuance was, once we were able to bring that out in the edit, it was really sort of sustaining the audience's attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's very relatable. But I think that's it for me for time. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations again on the film. It's brilliant, and I'm so excited to see it come out in the cinema.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.